Getting really hot and sweaty and nervous. Hey everyone, this is my review for A Wrinkle in Time. I'm not gonna lie to you, this movie is, it's underwhelming. Disney made it seem like the most epic movie and all the trailers looked amazing and you could see like this great universe you're gonna explore, and it wasn't that at all. Right, before I continue, I just want to issue a spoiler warning here. If you haven't seen the movie yet, I'm going to be talking about the movie. I'm going to be giving some spoilers. So if you don't care, carry on. If you want to watch the movie, then pause, go watch the movie, then come back here. Very noisy outside. A Wrinkle in Time is about a young girl whose father's gone missing. The young girl played by Storm Reid, her name is Meg Murray, and her father, Chris Pine. He is a physicist and he's somewhere. We don't know where he is. He's just gone missing. He's gone through a lot of research about traveling to the other side of the universe, like really quickly. So this movie's kind of like Interstellar for kids, but more confusing than Interstellar. So Meg struggles to sort of deal with her father's disappearance, and her little brother, Charles Wallace, he's played by Dennis McCabe, little kid, Charles Wallace. They say his name so many times in this movie. I don't understand. His name is Charles Wallace. You can say Chuck, you could say just Charles, you could say CW, but no, they got to use the full name, Charles Wallace, all the time. So Meg has some trouble dealing with the disappearance, and her little brother, he's been handling it pretty well, but you can kind of see he knows something that we don't know. And it's kind of confusing actually, but he knows these beings, these mystical beings. The first one that appears is Reese Witherspoon's character, Mrs. Whatsit. Now, Mrs. Whatsit is actually a douchebag in this movie because she has no real concept of how people feel. So it's not like Sheldon Cooper in Big Bang Theory that doesn't really understand emotion. She just doesn't give a crap, and it's really annoying. She's so rude and so obnoxious and so mean to the lead character, to Meg, and it makes you want to hate her, and I hated her through this movie, and it kind of sucked. Next character we have is Mrs. Who, and she's kind of just Bumblebee. She's supposed to speak using quotes until she doesn't need to anymore. She kind of just stops, and you're like, oh, okay.
I'm so excited.
Hey, I'm not taking you with me.
So that's not a thing anymore. She said a bunch of random quotes from different people, and you could sort of catch along what she's saying, but halfway through the movie, she just stops doing that, and you're like, oh, okay, well, there's your thing now gone. What do you do? The last sort of being is played by Oprah, and her name is Mrs. Witch, and she is basically Yoda. I'm not gonna lie, she even says a Yoda quote.
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear leads to anger. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering.
She's their mentor, and she sort of guides them around, and she's the leader of the three misses, and she sort of guides the kids through this journey, and really they don't do much else. Zach Galifianakis is in this movie, and he's supposed to be really entertaining and funny, but he wasn't. He was also, I use the word underwhelming a lot, but it really was underwhelming. He's like this guru guy, but he's just sort of there, and you're like, oh, okay. And he's also in the movie for a few scenes, and then he's gone. The characters are quite underwhelming as well. I mean, Storm Reid plays a really tough character because she has to play someone that's struggling through the disappearance of her father, and she has to play an anxious little kid, and she does it really well, but some of her dialogue that she has to deliver, unfortunately, is quite bad. I mean, many of the characters say to her, "You can do this," and she goes, "Me?" And she does it again later in the movie, "You can do this." Me? And you wanted to grow as a character, you wanted to feel like, okay, you're being accepted and you can can do more, but she just doesn't, and she's supposed to be the hero of the story. Some of the other characters that I liked, Calvin was sort of just there. He's played by Levi Miller. He's just a kid. The other kid though, Charles Wallace, as I've mentioned, he is so sassy, and the problem is with him, he's really good, but you just don't know anything about him, and he just knows so much about this world and about these different universes because he's been with Mrs. Whatsit, but it's never really explained. You don't understand how he knows so much, and it's kind of like leaves you more confused and leaves you with more questions than anything else. One of the big issues I had with this movie is that you get transported to these other worlds, and actually this other world, it's kind of just one world where they visit, and we've seen that before in movies like Avatar, and I mean with Star Wars and, well, Interstellar to a point. You see these other worlds, and we want just more than a green field and like a sort of CGI planet, and they don't give that. There's no other like characters and no other animals or anything, so they explore this world and that's kind of all they do. Evil, the bad guy in this movie, isn't really a bad guy either. It's kind of just like, he's just bad, but it's not even something worth fighting for. And I find that there was nothing really that gripped you to the movie and wanted you to have these heroes do well. They kind of just sort of strutted along and that was it. The mom in this movie, she kind of just is there. You don't really see her even trying, because I mean she's supposed to play this brilliant scientist. You don't even see her trying to find her husband. You don't even see her sort of do anything actually. She's kind of just there in the beginning and then that's it. So she was a bit underwhelming as well. You'd think that maybe she would feel something for her family and try and find her husband, but I don't know. So something that bugged me, I know this is based off a book that was written quite a long time ago, but some of the names of things, Hollywood should change names. I know that because of the book you want to stick as much to the source material as possible, but the name of the big bad guy thing is It. So, I mean, It.
Hiya, Georgie.
It feels like this movie had a lot of things taken from different other movies, and not the good parts of other movies. It really just left it kind of boring, to be honest with you. Overall, if you ask me the things I liked about the movie, I like the message that it actually had, which was if you're an anxious kid, if you're dealing with anxiety, if you're worried about your problems and the things that are wrong with you, this movie really does a good job of saying to you that it's okay to have flaws, it's okay to have little problems, and that's fine. But the rest of the movie, with regards to the whole sci-fi element, the fantasy element, it just wasn't there, it just wasn't enough. There was a lot of CGI and it felt like it was way too much CGI and way too much, oh look, we're trying to make this movie look as beautiful as possible, but that's not what a movie's about. It needs to be a little bit more than that. It needs to have something interesting about it. And while I do love the message, that the message is great, the rest of the movie, like as a movie, it was really underwhelming. Overall, it was a disappointment. I think Disney could have done a lot better with that. I mean, you expect so much from this kind of movie. The best thing about it, honestly, was the trailer. I didn't know much about it going in, and I thought they were going to explore these worlds, they were going to see these amazing places, but they just didn't. And then I knew there was going to be evil. I mean, it's played by, the bad guy's played by Michael Pena. His name is Red. Oh, he's one of the bad guys, and he's kind of just there for 30 seconds, and that's it. The big bad guy, he's just sort of a big planet thing, and then he kind of is supposed to be evil, but he's just human characteristic, and that's the thing. It's not really evil, it's just he's just a human characteristic. He's just jealousy, and he's just sort of bad thoughts. And if that's the evil in your movie, then you're kind of like, what? Alright, so what did you think of the movie? Please comment down below, let me know what you thought, let me know what you think of my review. I'm still new to this, so I want to know your thoughts and what could I do to improve. I'm really curious about that. So thank you so much for watching. I'm going to put some links to other videos, to my other channel. We do a lot of fun, stupid stuff on there as well. So check that out. So thanks again for watching, and I will see you guys soon.